Queen Tulsa, baby.
Greetings, royal queens and kings. It's your host, Queen Tulsa, and we are back. I'm so excited. We are actually coming in from the station. However, the set was not complete, and so we're going to work it this way. Let's go ahead and let's get into it because we have Nene Leaks. She's actually back on the Real Housewives of the Atlanta Bravo network. Okay, so this is going to be like a ultimate road trip. So as far as her joining the cast and things like that, I'm not really sure about that, but so far this is all we have. Shout out to Reality News. Nene Leaks breaks silence on Bravo return. Where do I start? Nene Leakes is coming back to Bravo. The Real Housewives of Atlanta alum confirmed the news herself on social media with a resounding B, I'm back. While she didn't share all the details yet, one thing's for sure is definitely going to be a time. She's joining the upcoming Real Housewives Ultimate Road Trip in some way. The upcoming special show celebrates 20 years of the Real Housewives and will have a principal cast of 7 iconic housewives going on a trip to the housewife cities. Nene Leakes will star on the Real Housewives Ultimate Road Trip. Now, listen here. I'm excited for her, and I think a lot of people counted her out. And this is my thing. You cannot count her out. Yes, she had her issues with Bravo. I believe that she got her a nice severance pay. And she just kind of, one thing that I did notice about her, she wasn't out here like, downplaying, down talking. When I think about you know, conflict of interest and, making a bad name of yourself. She's not a Armand Wiggins. She's not a funky Dineva. That's going to come out here and, oh, I was supposed to get paid this, that, and the third. No, she knew that the ball was in her court and she knew that she was standing on business. And I feel like more people need to stand on business like that. Yes, report it, also give them an opportunity to make change. I mean, okay, we're suing, but is anything changing? Are you adding more girls, more brown skinned girls that look like Nene? Are you adding them to the franchise, giving the girls opportunities and stuff like that? So I'm excited. I really can't say anything else, but hey, I'm excited. I'm just happy to see one of my favorite housewives back on the television. I mean, let's just think about it. When I was watching the housewives, Nene was really um not only one of the castmates, but it was just how she delivered. It was like you could really she was a girl to girl, she was relatable. And I feel like that makes a difference when we are watching these shows. We want our entertainment, but who's relatable? And there's been a few times where we all can relate to calling somebody out or, giving a punchline and, is sticking, and really just walking in your truth. And I feel like that's what she's doing. But let's get back into the article. Sources share that Nene will be leg participating in the Atlanta leg of the show. And to say she is happy about her triumph, Bravo return would be an understatement. Nene shared a reel with the caption confirmed the tastiest peach is back. Yes, tears, y'all, tears. It's your girl Nene Leaks. Where do I start? She began. This has been a really, really long journey. I'm happy, overjoyed to say that I will be returning to Bravo. I almost can't even believe the words that are coming out of my mouth. I'm so happy. She thanked all the people behind the scenes for making it happen, including Andy Cohen and the people at Bravo, truly original and shared media. So many people have been continuing to throw my name in the ring over and over again, she said with gratitude. She also sent her heartfelt thanks to the housewives who kept her name going behind the scenes, like Portia Williams and Phaedra Parks, both of whom have been vocal about supporting her return. Portia, one of the principal cast members of the show, commented on Nene's post and said, I can't wait. The question is, the door is open. 20 years of Housewives is now complete. Let's celebrate. Nene was an OG for Rhoa, but left her season, but she left after season 12. Fans have been clamoring for her return, but it was complicated as she had previously been in a legal battle with Bravo. As Portia, okay, as Portia said, as Portia had previously said, um, the door is now open and Nene is coming through. The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Rowing 20 premieres on Bravo later this year. So shout out to the girls over in Atlanta. I'm really excited for it. Let's talk about it. Um, when I think about Nene's return, I feel like it's definitely going to be one to put into the books. I wonder if they're going to, navigate and place her kind of like they did Phaedra, but not really how they did Phaedra. Um, in the swing of things, like what will her storyline be? Will her new boyfriend be on there? Is she going to have a new business? Um, I don't know. I'm just very curious. But let's get into this because we have another housewife. Yes. So, oh, damn it. You guys give me 1 second. So we do have another story. Kelly Farrell of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, baby, she's been pulled right on into court, and they are saying that the streets are saying, and shout out to the Jasmine brand, but they're saying that some of the cast members are living beyond their means, and yeah. So here we go. Rhoa star Kelly Farrell's ex-husband released from jail after being arrested before Christmas for nearly $62,000 in unpaid child support. Kelly Farrell's ex-husband Mark Farrell didn't make it home for the holidays. Okay, get into this. The businessman was released from the Rockdale County Jail in Georgia on January the 8th after satisfying his outstanding child support obligation. Mark's representative told a news outlet that he paid $61,992 in full using the proceeds of the sale of his former marital residence. As previously reported, Mark was taken into custody just 3 days before Christmas after reportedly falling significantly behind on payments owed to Kelly. All right, let's get back into it. The former couple, who were married from 2011 to 2022, shared three children. Kelly is also a mother to a 17-year-old from a previous relationship. While Mark has cleared his errors, he is still required to continue making his ongoing monthly child support payments of $3,991. His representative stated that Mark maintains that his intent was never to avoid supporting his children, but rather to resolve the obligation completely and permanently once the funds were released. They added, Mr. Farrell and his legal team state that this matter could have been resolved far earlier had been granted timely access to the escrowed home sale proceeds. So it seems like he just had to make some money moves and to drop that payment. But he did get locked up. And, if you really ask me, I just feel like when it comes to these reality shows and, you know, really showing up for the cast, I feel like these people really need to do their research, because if you come online and you're portraying to be a certain type of way, you have to understand that there are going to be people that are sitting right there in your bushes taking notes, and they're going to go and look up the information if it's not sounding right. Okay? Now let's get into this. Trump threatens to use military over Minnesota anti-ICE protests. Now, threats comes after weeks of Trump deriding state Democrats Somalis. Okay, a Reuters IPSOS survey finds Republicans are split on aggressive law enforcement. Soldiers have been deployed in U.S. 30 times since Insurrection Act of 1807. U.S. President Donald Trump threatened on Thursday to invoke the Insurrection Act to deploy military forces in Minnesota after days of angry protests over a surge in immigration agents on the streets of Minneapolis. Confrontations between residents and federal officers have become increasingly tense after an immigration and customs enforcement agent fatally shot a U.S. citizen, Renee Good, in a car 8 days ago in Minneapolis. And the protests have spread to other cities. Trump's latest threat came a few hours after an immigration officer shot a Venezuelan man the government said was fleeing after agents tried to stop his vehicle in Minneapolis. If the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE who are only trying to do their job, I will institute the Insurrection Act, Trump wrote on social media. Trump, a Republican, has for weeks derided the state's Democratic leaders and called the Somali community in the area garbage who should be thrown out of the country. He has already sent nearly 3,000 federal officers into the Minneapolis area who have carried guns through the city's icy streets wearing military-style camouflage gear and masks that hide their faces. They have been met frequently by loud, often angry protests by residents, some blowing whistles or banging tambourines. The agents have arrested both immigrants and protesters, at times smashing windows and pulling people from their cars, and have been shouted at for several episodes where they have stopped Black and Latino U.S. citizens and demanded identification. Disgusting and intolerable. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, which is overseeing Trump's immigration crackdown, said that just before Wednesday's shooting, two people attacked a federal officer with a broomstick and snow shovel as he wrestled with the Venezuelan man on the ground outside a home he had been running towards. The officer fired defensive shots to defend his life. The DHS statement said the man had been allowed into the U.S. by the administration of Trump's predecessor, Joe Biden, in 2022. Through the government's humanitarian parole program, the Trump administration, which has sought to revoke Biden era immigration and asylum programs, accused him of being in the country illegally. Reuters was not able to verify the account given by DHS. Minneapolis police chief Brian O'Hara told reporters at a late night press conference that the FBI and Minnesota's Bureau of Criminal Apprehension were gathering evidence from the scene. The man's injuries were not life threatening and he was recovering in hospital, O'Hara said. Speaking alongside O'Hara Mayor Jacob Frey called the ICE surge an invasion and said he had seen conduct from ICE that is disgusting and intolerable. We cannot be at a place right now in America where we have governmental entities that are legally fighting one another, Frey said. Trump supporters divided over immigration enforcement. The Insurrection Act of 1807 is a law allowing the president to deploy the military or federalized soldiers in a state national guard to quell rebellion, an exception to laws that prohibit soldiers being used in civil or criminal law enforcement. It has been used 30 times in the U.S. history, according to New York University's Brennan Center for Justice. The Supreme Court has ruled that the president alone can determine if the act's conditions have been met. Trump has already taken the unusual step to federalizing National Guard soldiers to help with immigration law enforcement in Democrat-run cities over the objections of state governors, including in Los Angeles last year, which a judge ruled in December was unconstitutional. Trump's aggressive moves in Minnesota have divided his supporters. 59% of Republicans favored a policy prioritizing arrests by immigration officers, even if people get hurt, while 39% said officers should focus on reducing harm to people, even if it means fewer arrests, according to a Reuters IPSOS survey released on Thursday. If Trump sends soldiers to Minnesota, he would almost certainly face legal challenges by the state. The Minnesota Attorney General's office has already sued the Trump administration this week, saying the ICE surge was violating Minnesotans' rights, and on Wednesday asked U.S. District Judge Kate Menendez to issue a temporary order restraining it. Brian Carter, a lawyer from Minnesota, told the judge that Trump's agents were engaged in a pattern of unlawful, violent conduct, including racial profiling and forced entry into residents' homes without warrants. They're forcing this crisis onto us, Carter said in a social media post on Thursday morning. Trump said incorrectly that the judge had declined to block the ICE search. At the hearing, Judge Menendez ordered the Trump administration to respond by Monday to Minnesota's complaints, saying she would rule after that, calling the issues raised by Minnesota's lawsuit enormously important. They deal with the very fundamental relationships between the government and the state and municipalities, she said. All right, so it's a lot going on. When you talk about in Minnesota and, just kind of how the crime rate is just kind of going up and the unlawful det- detaining and, like they were saying in the article, they're just going and, kicking in people's doors allegedly. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot. Now get into this, because I know I like my Taco Bell, and ciao. Taco Bell, give us a sponsorship. Well, Taco Bell just announced 10 new value menu items, all under $3, and they're launching next week. Get into this. Taco Bell is expanding its value menu items with a bold new lineup. The Deluxe Value Menu debuts nationwide on January 22nd with 10 offers, including 5 new innovations, all priced at $3 or less. Taco Bell Rewards members can get early access to the Deluxe Value Menu through the mobile app starting January the 16th. The Tex-Mex chain said the new value menu was crafted to give customers an elevated experience with affordable prices, according to the press release. At Taco Bell, value has always been about delivering more flavor, more abundance, more options, more excitement. The Lux Value menu was built on one ambition: to defy expectations of what value can be, said Luis Respetro, Chief Marketing Officer, North America at Taco Bell. This isn't just a menu refresh, it's a new standard for value at Taco Bell across the industry. The mini taco salad might sound familiar to Taco Bell fans since it was first introduced to Live Mas Live 2025. It features seasoned beef, chipotle sauce, cheddar cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and refried beans placed on a crispy tortilla bowl for only what? $2.49. The beefy potato loaded griller includes seasoned beef potato bites, nacho cheese sauce, chipotle sauce, and reduced fat sour cream wrapped in a tortilla and grilled for $2.49. Nacho lovers will appreciate the Chip and Nacho Supreme Dip, priced at $2.49. It is layered with seasoned beef, refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, pico de gallo, and three cheese blend with what? With tortilla chips. The avocado ranch chicken stacker features grilled white meat chicken, avocado ranch sauce, three cheese blend, lettuce, and tomatoes. It is folded and grilled for a convenient on the go option. Guess how much? For $2.49. And guess what? For a limited time, salted caramel churros will be available for $1.99. The dessert has a crispy shell paired with a sweet and creamy filling and a coat of salted caramel sugar. Taco Bell's return to value menu favorites are cheesy roll up for $1.19, spicy potato soft taco $1.29, cheesy bean and rice burrito $1.49, three cheese chicken flatbread melt. Guess how much? $2.29. Cheesy double beef burrito, $2.79. Get into it. Now, during Taco Bell's Tuesday drops on January the 27th, 30,000 reward members will have the chance to receive an item from the Lux Value menu for $1. The offer is only up on the app starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys download the app. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our next story. Okay, listen here. Oh my God, now I can't wait. Now let's get into it. Here in Tulsa police, stolen tool listed for sale on marketplace leads to arrest. A man found his stolen tool worth $1,500 for sale on Facebook Marketplace, according to Tulsa police. Officers took a report on January the 8th from the man who said someone broke into his work truck at Urban Oak Apartments near 51st and Lewis. The victim stated that someone sifted through his toolboxes and stole a $1,500 Rigged Navi Track Scout locator tool. The victim then showed officers multiple Facebook marketplace posts showing what he believed to be his tool listed for half and sometimes a quarter of the value. Officers reached out to the listing parties and agreed to meet to buy the item in a parking lot near 62nd and Peoria. The seller, identified as 29-year-old Siobhan Billups, arrived carrying the case with the tool inside. Billups claimed she met a friend on the street who asked her if she wanted to make some quick cash selling something on Facebook. She was unable to give officers much information about who gave her the stolen item. Hey, are we still here? We still here? All right. All right. The victim had his name and other unique markings on the case for the tool, making it easy for officers to identify it as the stolen item. Billups was arrested and booked into the Tulsa County Jail. She faces a charge of knowingly concealing stolen property. Tulsa police remind Facebook Marketplace users that if the price of a product seems too good to be true, it probably is. Now listen here. Shout out to Miss Shay. Shay, how are you doing? Grand Rising, and thank you for coming by. All right, so that was here in my hometown, Tulsa, honey. And listen here, if you are out there and you are using Facebook Marketplace, just be mindful and always meet in a safe place, a police station, uh, let's say a restaurant, where they have cameras or something like that. So never, meet anybody that is asking you to, oh, just pull up to my house. No, never go to a person's location. Now, in other news, Jill Scott says she hated how she was treated while filming iconic Tyler Perry movie. When Why Did I Get Married hit theaters in 2007, it quickly became one of Tyler Perry's most talked about ensembles dramas, centered on four married couples who take an actual vacation together. The film delved into infidelity, self worth, and emotional neglect. Two powerhouse singers anchored the cast: Janet Jackson, who played Patricia, and Jill Scott, whose portrayal of Sheila remains one of the movie's most painful storylines. Sheila's introduction is intentionally jarring. While boarding a plane with her husband, Mike, played by the rookie star Richard T. Jones, she's met with humiliation almost immediately. Mike refuses to sit next to her. Another passenger complains about her size, and Sheila eventually makes her way to the Colorado for the couple's retreat alone. The moment establishes the emotional isolation that defines her arc throughout the film. Years later, Scott has spoken candidly about how difficult that scene was to make. During an interview with Angie Martinez, the singer revealed that the harsh treatment was limited to what viewers saw on screen. According to Scott, some of the extras leaned fully into fat jokes. Even before the cameras rolled, the scene on the plane, Tyler had extras make fun of me. When I got on the plane, she explained, recalling how comments about Sheila's weight were being tossed back and forth. Scott wore a fat suit for the role, a physical transformation that required her to adjust her movement and posture to make Sheila feel authentic. Still, the off camera remarks caught her off guard. But the folks on the flight really went in on fat jokes, she said. Reflecting on the experience later, Scott didn't soften her reaction. Sorry, Tyler. I hated that ish. She said plainly. Sincerely, I hated it. Despite that, Scott made it clear that Scott made it clear the experience during oh my goodness. Despite that, Scott made it clear the experience didn't sour her on everyone involved. She had glowing praise for Jones, calling him literally one of the nicest people on the planet, adding that she'd happily bite him and hug him if she ran into him. Well, I don't know. The bite, I would lean off of that. The hug, okay. Well, let's get into this. Former DeKalb County deputy pleads guilty to having sex with inmate. DeKalb County, a now former DeKalb County jail deputy, has pleaded guilty to having a relationship with an inmate and will be going to prison. Joanne Marks, 28, pleaded guilty on Monday to charges of sexual contact by employee, items prohibited for possession by inmates, and 2 counts of violation of oath of a public officer. In April 2024, employees found a cell phone and cigarettes in an inmate's cell. When they questioned Marks, she admitted to having brought the contraband into the jail. She also admitted to having sex with the inmate. She was arrested and fired that same day, and later released on bond. Marks was sentenced to oh my goodness. Marks was sentenced to 12 years with two to serve in prison. She will also have to complete 500 hours of community service. She will have to turn herself into the DeKalb County Jail on Monday to begin her sentence. She was convicted under the First Offender Act and will have her record cleared if she completes the terms of her sentence. Now, listen here, it's a lot going on. And it's a lot of that goes on when you talk about the justice system and things like that. allegedly. All right, let's get into it. DC may DC may rename school that honors city's first mayor. A prom. Oh, they want me to buy it. Okay, we're not doing all that. We just want the news. All right. All right, so those are all of our stories right now. We just had to come in and give you some juicy hot topics. We will be back here at some point of the day. But listen here, I just want to say thank you all so much for coming by the Goddess Queen Tulsa show. And you are going to have a great day on purpose because it's our intention. Until next time, so long.